Hi there, everyone. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you on today, the 29th of September 2013. And of course, the top story today, well, this very strong and intensifying typhoon Wutip or Palo, or if you are in Vietnam, you probably know it as Bao number 10, continuing to bear down on the Vietnamese coast. And at this time, winds sustained around 130 kilometers per hour, gusting up to nearly 200. Actually, some reports, at least according to Vietnam here on the paracels, of up to about 113 to 120 kilometers per hour wind gusts. So a very intense storm system still rolling off here towards the west. Actually, over the past several hours, we have seen the center of circulation, at least the bulk of that eye wall, start to expand away from the center. So it does look like the storm system is not only intensifying as far as strength, but the overall wind field, extending some of these rain bands all the way out there towards Hong Kong, and also pushing across portions of Hainan today as it continues to track off there towards the west. As far as the enhanced monsoon here in the Philippines, well, it does look like that is starting to ease off today. The good news with that, you are seeing some improving conditions. Unfortunately, possibly by next week, sometime midweek, there's going to be another low forming in the Philippine Sea, so something to watch out for. But let's take a look at the official track from the Japan Meteorological Agency on this storm system. As of 0 UTC, when I'm doing this video update, pressure about 965 HPA, so just below the threshold of the typhoon. But I do think, just looking at satellite imagery at this time, and actually current microwave imagery, it looks a lot lower than with that very well-defined eye really forming around that center of circulation. But look at this banding around the southern half of the storm system, especially in the last several frames. It truly does look like it really is starting to get its act together here with that very well-defined eye. You can see it pop right up right there, that inner eye wall, and that's where we're seeing these wind gusts up to about 200 kilometers per hour, also in these outer rain bands. So southern portions of Hainan, even though this is going to be skirting you towards the south, see these bands coming in from the east. Those very well could be bringing some of those that risk of storm surge, heavy rain, even water spouts, a very high risk. Water spouts coming ashore and becoming tornadoes, that is. So definitely a very severe risk there for southern China. But the main threat, if we go back to that track, is going to be here along the coastline of Vietnam. North of Da Nang, actually closer to Hue, Vietnam, but south of Hanoi. This is going to be making landfall as a pretty strong tropical system, upwards of possibly, at least according to JMA, Category 2. But I think it could be even higher in intensity than that, especially once it gets out here towards the Gulf. You get some very warm sea surface temperatures combined in with lower vertical wind shear, and we often do see storms once they enter this area of ocean right in here, see an explosive intensification. So there's a possibility of that occurring, but this is just looking at the track from the Vietnam Meteorological Department, pushing onshore just north of Da Nang as well as a fairly strong typhoon. Looking at these winds upwards about 139 kilometers per hour sustained at landfall. And once again, just taking a look at the current satellite imagery, I do think that is completely possible. And here just showing the enhanced infrared imagery, that defined eye, but that really just high convective cloud tops really forming up around the center of circulation, extending all out here towards the west. And already seeing those rain bands come ashore. So let's look at this zoomed in, at least wind field from the ECMWF model. And that's going to kind of give you a good idea where exactly the storm system is going to be making landfall here by Monday evening. As it comes ashore, moving just south of Hainan here. Now, this is looking by Sunday over 9 hours into Monday morning. We can see that storm system just clipping the southern periphery. Tropical storm strength winds pushing onshore, not only here, but also by really about 0300 or 0200 Vietnam time here. You're going to start to see those tropical storm strength winds possibly around Da Nang as it does continue to track off here towards the west. We'll pull up the city overlay here. And then let's continue to scroll ahead, actually about 12 more hours into the future as the storm system does continue to track off there towards the west. Looking ahead by really into Monday evening, it really just starts to near the coastline. And this is where we're thinking that center of circulation is going to be pushing onshore, just north of Dong Hoi, south of Hanoi, farther off there towards the north. And there's still a lot of high population density areas right in here. If you are one of the people watching from this area, definitely would like to hear your feedback, also some imagery on the ground if you can, any wind reports as the storm system does approach your area. do expect widespread power outages, though, as it comes ashore, and especially along the northern periphery of that center of circulation. We mentioned this in yesterday's video update, and I just want to reiterate it. This is where you're going to be seeing those winds come ashore, and that's where the highest risk of storm surge is going to be. Up to 4 to 5 meter high in these low-lying coastal areas are very well possible, not to mention the high waves that are going to be coming ashore with this as well. And then the heavy rainfall. Farther inland, you do have this mountain chain right here. Once that rain pushes on shore, there is a fairly high risk of some flooding and even landslides. And we can even switch this up from the winds. And let's take a look at the MSL for the same time period, just showing that precipitation. And I almost can guarantee you this is going to show it building up right in that area. You can kind of see it right there. So that's where the highest risk of the flooding and landslides are going to be. Just a little bit farther inland, right near the coastal area, we have to talk about storm surge, these damaging winds very well possible, and not to mention the high waves that are going to be coming ashore. So a lot of stuff going on. I do think that Hanoi, you're going to be missing the bulk of this weather. So where the biggest population is, storm systems should remain farther towards the south. But some of these outer rain bands are very well going to be a threat, though, even farther off there towards the north. But we're talking about down here into these areas where the worst of this weather is going to be. So yeah, with that said, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, could you please post them down in the comment box below. Also, don't forget to go to the webpage, check out our Tropical Information Center. All these satellite imageries I used in today's updates are located, all the tracks as well, and plenty of information, not only analysis, but other information as far as reports, and maybe some video if we can get anybody sending us some videos or photos out of there will be posted there as well. So please go check that out at westpacweather.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more information. And as always, stay safe out there. We, of course, are not a official WMO agency by any means, so please do go check in with your local agency as the storm system does come ashore. And thanks for watching, everybody.